been thinking about some things, and you guys know I like to think about things, and that's how I'm able to produce this content. I'm not filling up my head with nonsense. I'm not inebriated. I'm not uh, obsessed with the political claptrap like a bunch of bozos on here. Okay, but that's the thing with me. I'm able to produce this content because of that. And I was thinking about like being an average man. I think about that a lot because most guys are average, and I'm in a situation where I've lived my life as an average man, right? And there are some people who are below average, and they think that being an average man, I've spoken about this before, they think that being an average man is somehow better than where they're at, where really being an average man is only marginally better. Obviously, as you get older, if you're on a different end of average, it really depends if you're on the high end of average or the low end of average. If you're on the high end of average, as you get older, your life will start to, improve. That's just typically speaking, but that's not the subject of this video. I was thinking about like the average man, and if you're living in a country like the UK, which is the country that I know best, right? You're living in a country like the UK, right? Okay. In a country like the UK, you're basically paying through the nose, okay, to live just as an average man. You're paying through the nose to live like an average man. What do I mean by that? I mean, comparatively speaking, if you were to touch down in another nation, okay, if you were to touch down in another nation, for the amount of money that you're paying to live like an average man in average accommodation, which average accommodation in the UK is quite poor. I mean, in fact, there's been studies done, and the UK has the worst quality, or let's say, value for money housing in the developed world. You can actually look at that. They've done research and they've done studies on this. But so you're paying through the nose to live in accommodation that is quite poor. And if you were to put that money in another country, you would be living in superior accommodation, luxury condos. I don't have to give you the rundown, but you'd essentially be living a better life. You'd have maids. Nobody has maids in the UK. I mean, unless you're pretty much upper class. I mean, you'd have maids, you'd have, domestic helpers. You'd have a lot of things that the average man doesn't have in the Western world, and you'd be paying around about the same price. So that's why I'd say you're paying through the nose to live like an average man, right? I think that's the best way to put it. I think that's the best way to phrase it. You're paying through the nose to live like an average man. And I was thinking, like, why would I want to do that long term? Of course, you might be in a situation where you're paying through the nose to live like an average man short term, right? Short term, you got things to do, you got things to sort out, but that's not going to be a forever thing for you. That's just a short term thing. But there's a lot of guys who are like long term living like that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're living like an average man, bro, long term. Is that a good reality? Is that a reality that you want to be in, though? And we all know the answer is no. Who wants to live like an average man? Would you voluntarily live like an average man? Would you choose to live like that? I mean, would you like if you had the option Would you live like an average man, or would you just jump on a plane and go to another country and live at least a moderately luxurious lifestyle? See, but this is the thing. This is what I've been talking about for the longest time on this channel. Even as a bachelor, I mean, a lot of guys, and you guys know, I'm an advocate of being a bachelor. This is a bachelor channel. Like I say to you guys always, this is a single man's channel. Yes, yes, I'm an advocate of being a bachelor. But being a bachelor, let's just say in the Western world, right? Okay, you're a bachelor in the Western world. That doesn't fix your problem though. Because being a bachelor in itself is a double-edged sword because you're paying more in some regards because, of course, you're paying for your accommodation fully by yourself. Okay, you're paying for your accommodation fully by yourself. You're paying for the bills by yourself. Okay, and obviously there's a lot more things that you're paying by yourself, right? That you could get cheaper if you were a couple. So I'm not here to discuss be a single versus be in a couple. This is a bachelor man's channel. I advocate being a bachelor, but I also advocate going overseas. See, here's the thing, right? You got this group on the internet that's been around for a while, MGTOW, men going their own way, and they pretend like being a bachelor in itself is fixing your situation, which is not. It's not fixing your situation. Being a bachelor is good, but it doesn't in itself fix your situation. Being a bachelor, it gives you more freedom. It does give you more freedom and it allows you, okay, it allows you a better opportunity to change your situation because you got more time and you're able to think. I'm able to sit here and think and strategize because I'm a bachelor. It's not that simple if you're in these relationships, especially if it's not as stable and you're going from relationship to relationship. That's not good. But a lot of guys like they don't want to accept, and this is something that people run away from. It's like they don't want to accept that you pretty much your options are to become rich or go to another country or both. I take both. I take both because like I want full control over my life. I want the best that life has to offer. And yeah, I take both. I'm gonna get rich and I'm gonna be in another country. But you don't necessarily have to be rich by Western standards if you're going to another country. Especially if you only want to live moderately in luxury, you don't necessarily have to become rich by Western standards. You still got to have a good Western, solid Western income, but you don't have to be necessarily rich. But see, there's a lot of guys, right? They're in a situation where because they're not a bachelor, they have put themselves in a situation where they're paying through the nose to live like an average man and they're trapped. And why are they trapped? Because they decided to make the silly decision to go out there, have a wife, and and have kids. Oh yeah, it's a silly decision because when you got a wife and when you got kids, you're not really in control of your situation. You're not really truly independent. No, you're not independent because you have to consider the thoughts, the views, and the opinions of your significant other. And on top of that, you've got to consider the future of the child. So now you've put yourself in a situation where it goes back to what I was saying. on one of my live streams, which you guys, if you don't watch my live streams, you gotta watch them. I don't care if the sound quality, oh, there's cars in the background. I don't give a shit because you ain't getting this anywhere else. If you're getting this content anywhere else, look, by all means watch it, but I ain't seen anybody who's producing the content that I'm producing of a similar, saying the similar things what I'm saying. I don't see that. So you might as well watch it. I spoke about on one of my live streams, I was talking about choosing a life versus being forced, right? If you just put that into YouTube, you'll see it. Choosing a life versus being forced, right? I spoke about this about a bit over a year ago. A lot of guys, like, they are forced to live that sorry, not bachelor, that average man lifestyle. They're forced to live that average man lifestyle and pay through the nose to live it. And the reason why is because they have put themselves in a situation where it's very difficult for them to get out of it. It's very difficult for them to get out of it. And it's even worse if you're on child support and you can't even see your kids. I mean, a lot of guys, they're in that kind of situation. They ain't got the cash. See, and that's the thing. I tell guys, you kind of got to get rich if you're going to remain in the Western world, man. The cost of being an average man has gone up substantially. And if you're not making substantially more money, now you're in a deficit. Now you got a problem, and most people aren't making substantially more money. These fraudulent politicians that try to sell you, or being an average man is good. No, it's not, bro. Being an average man in many cases is worse than death. It's like, what's good about being an average man? Are you crazy? Have you lost your damn mind? Of course, politicians, the frauds will sell you that. And the reason why they'll sell you that is because their life is government subsidized anyway. You know, just like these fraudulent Olympic athletes who tell you, oh, yeah, uh, your country is great. They did this for me. They did that for you. Yeah, they did that for you because your career has been government subsidized. I don't care what you got to say. Why would I care what somebody's got to say if, you know, their career is subsidized? Why would I give a toss about what they've got to say? I don't. I only care about people who've actually, you know, done it the traditional way. But yeah, don't listen to politicians, man. All a bunch of lies and frauds, to be quite honest with you. Trying to sell you that dream. Oh yeah, it's a great country. Yeah, it's a great country. It's a great country, but yeah, I'm living luxury overseas for the same amount I'm paying to live like an average man. Can that be seen as a great country? It's like, is that a great country? Are you crazy? Like, people who say this, I think they've lost their mind. You gotta have lost your mind. You gotta be crazy. Because that don't add up to me. Bang for your buck is one of the most important things, bro. Like, unless I'm going to a war zone, I'll take bang for your buck over pretty much anything, bro. Unless I'm going to like, unless the bang for your buck is in a war zone, right? But if I'm going to a place that's safe, great weather, great food, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to take what's going to give you more bang for your buck. Of course, people will never tell you that. See, we grew up, right? And we weren't told the truth. Your parents, my parents, they knew what was waiting for us. They never told us. They knew what the fucking shit that was waiting for me. Apologies for my language, but that makes me angry because it's like they could have helped you. Even though they ain't got the money, they could have at least told you what's waiting. If I knew what was waiting for me, bro, you think I would have been playing video games 4, 5, 6 hours a day? I used to say I was playing video games 4 hours a day, and actually it was more than that because I used to watch tutorials. I used to watch video game reviews. I was playing video games about 6 hours a day, right? Back in 2016, 17, and some of 18. It was only in 18 when I started a second business that I had to put video games down a little bit, but I still played them. I still played them, but sorry, I still played them up until 2020. You know, I still played them up until 2020 January. It's when I finally put them down. But that's the thing. They don't tell you what's waiting for you. They knew what was waiting for you, and I still can't figure that out. Why we're not told by older people what's waiting for us? You know, because they're not trying to protect us. You don't protect somebody by making it seem like it's better than what it is. Now, the teachers, they don't care about us, you know, but your own flesh and blood, is hiding from you what's waiting for you, right? But we're supposed to be okay with that, right? We're supposed to be, they knew what was waiting for me, and yet they didn't push me. They just let me walk into the lion's den, which is essentially what they've done. They've let you walk into the lion's den, and you find out yourself, hang on a second, I'm paying through the nose to live an average man lifestyle. This lifestyle is shit, And it's like, but you didn't know that when you were 16, 17, 18, even in your early 20s. I didn't know that in my early 20s because I was in a situation where I was making below minimum wage when I just came out of university. You know, it was not up until like 2000, late 2017, 18 when I started to make, a livable income. Like I told you guys, I came late into the whole thing, bro. I didn't come out of university with work. It took me another few years after I came out of university. Was it 2.5 years, 1.5 years, something like that? It took me a while to start making a livable income. I think ended to, so yeah, a few years. It took me a few years to make a livable income when I came out of university, man. But that's the thing. It's like the truth is hidden from us. Why we gotta find out stuff? And that's what makes me mad. It's like why I gotta find something out by myself when there's older people all around you. It's like people want you to fail. Your own fat flesh and blood want you to fail. I still don't understand why we don't get told the truth. It can't be an ego thing because how does that hurt your ego? Maybe it is an ego thing. A lot of stuff are ego things. A lot of the reason why we're on this planet is an ego thing. People have kids to feed their ego. Oh, I got to continue my legacy, my bloodline. But that's an ego thing, right? It's an ego thing. But, you know, you do that, you have kids, right? What you're doing, you're having kids before you've even reached a level of living that is satisfactory. You're not living satisfactory, then you have kids. Next thing you know, you're on a documentary complaining about how you can't afford to buy your kids a school uniform and the shoes for an upcoming school year, which just started, funny enough, here in Britain, right? But that's the thing. It's like, well, but why having kids? And nobody ever asks these questions. You're trapped in that cycle of being an average man. See, I'm happy. That's one of the things that like these guys who are want to be part of the normie lifestyle. I'm happy that I chose to not live that normie lifestyle because when I think about it, bro, it's like that's what really saved me. That's what allowed me to say, hey, I can go and live luxury in these countries because I don't have the commitments here. I'm not committed here. I'm not committed here, and that's a good thing. You don't want to be committed. You don't want to be committed, especially when you don't have the money to live the kind of lifestyle that you want to live. Why do you want to be committed though? Why would you want to be committed? It's not a good thing. I wouldn't want to be committed, bro, at all. For me, it's all about getting to a point where you're living a lifestyle where you're satisfied. And the average man life, I don't care what anyone's saying. Nobody's satisfied with that. Yeah, you got a lot of guys that will lie and pretend, oh, I love my life. Don't even bother with these guys. They'll lie. Oh yeah, I ain't got money, but I love my life. I got a wife and kids, But yet the next time they'll complain about their wife and kids. These people are just fucking liars and coping with their situation. They're not honest people. That's why I don't talk to people like that because you're not going to get honesty out of these guys. They're just lying. They're lying because they know that they're finished and they have to lie to keep themselves from, like going crazy, man. It's like, what are you going to do? Say, I wish I never got married and had kids? Okay, you can get divorced, but, it's not like you're not going to lose anything if you do that. If you do that, you stand to lose. If people stand to lose everything, the more you invest into the society, into the societal norms, the more you stand to lose. And that's what a lot of guys don't understand. See, I understand that. And the reason why I understand that is because I actually think about things. But a lot of guys, they don't think about anything. Because they don't think about anything, that's why they're in the situation that they're in. And that's why they're going to remain there. Like, if I wanted to, bro, I could jump on a plane right now. You know, I could go on the internet right now, book a flight. Yeah, I would have to come back to sort out some things. But I could book a flight for 6 months, right? Or 7 months. Probably come back in April or May after the winter. The weather's starting to get bad anyway. I could do that. Most guys can't even do that. And that's not the ideal situation. The ideal situation is going out there and never, ever, ever having to come back. That's the ideal situation. But I would take that over being a guy who's trapped, bro. A lot of dudes are trapped. They're trapped in a situation, bro. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they're trapped in a situation, bro. Absolutely, they're trapped in a situation because they don't have even the freedom to go out to these countries. They don't have the freedom. Or they have to consider what does their wife think, what does their girlfriend think. I don't give a shit about what the opposite gender thinks about, because I don't have to. I don't have to care. And that's the thing with being a bachelor. Yeah, being a bachelor is great, but you still gotta make the money. Yeah, you can be a bachelor who's broke. Is your situation better? Actually, it can be worse in a lot of cases because, a lot of guys, they're bringing their wife's income to the table combined with their income, they can get by off of that. A lot of dudes are homeless because they were by themselves. So being by yourself is good if you got enough money. A lot of these guys ain't got money like that, so I don't know why they're talking. But yeah, like nobody would choose to live this average man lifestyle, especially when you're paying through the nose for it. Like the average man lifestyle has gone up like 30 to 40% in the past 5 years, probably. I mean, that's my estimation. I've not really crunched down the numbers and looked into it detail, but just off of, you know, thinking and basing it off of what I've seen and comparing and contrasting the numbers, I would say the average man lifestyle has gone up like probably 30 to 40% of the cost in the past 4 to 5 years. It's getting more expensive just to live that shitty average man lifestyle. You know, it's getting more expensive. And it's like, bro, guys are like, you gotta start thinking about getting out of this average man lifestyle. You gotta start thinking about that. I mean, I thought about that years ago, which is why I'm not in a situation where I'm still living like that. Well, technically, I'm still living like an average man by choice, though, not by forced. It goes back to what I said, living by choice or being forced. I'm not forced to live anyway, you know? I'm not. Like I told you guys, I don't have an employer that needs me to be at work today or tomorrow or blah, blah, blah. I don't have that issue, right? So, it's nice. It's nice to be able to like have those options. And it does boost up your self-esteem. There's no doubt about it. I don't know where my self-esteem would be if I was, and that's why so a lot of these men are snapping. A lot of these men in relationships are snapping, going out, assassinating people. They're going crazy out there. A lot of these men in relationships because it's the pressure of your relationships, kids, and then money on top of that. As a bachelor, you're dealing with the money issue. You're not dealing with that other crap. I can't deal with the opposite gender in the Western world. I can't, you know. I can't deal with no opposite gender in the Western world. You guys been seeing the shorts I've been putting up on my channel, you know. But you kind of have to become a pathetic, weak, beta male simp. I mean, I put a lot of shorts up on my channel over the years about how this opposite gender is in the Western world, man. I can't deal with them. But that's the thing. I'm glad to be a single dude, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm going to reiterate again, that in itself doesn't solve the problem. The money has to still get made. However you want to slice it, the money has to get made, bro. You can't throw that money away. You can't, like, when I say not throw that money away, but throw that belief away and just dismiss money. I see guys dismissing money and they're the ones who need the money. But they dismiss money because it's easier to dismiss money than accept that you're going to have to change your situation. But like I said, nobody would choose if they had a choice to just live like an average man, to live the average man lifestyle over going and living a better top lifestyle that you truly want to live. Nobody would choose that. Who in their right mind would choose that? Especially in a country like the UK where, the housing is of terrible quality for the most part. The weather is awful. The opposite gender are awful. Okay, if you're a bachelor, you're not dealing with that. But, the thing is that when I look at it, bro, like I'm so like focused on making money, but that's why I don't spend money in this country. I don't do no fun activities, you know. I don't spend no money in this country. Not because I can't afford it, but rather because what's the point? What's the point spending money in this country when I'm getting more bang for my buck overseas? No, bang for your buck is important. Bang for your buck is very important. Bang for your buck is like opening up the Pandora's box, man. It's like once you realize that you're paying through the nose to live, because a lot of guys don't know that. A lot of guys don't know, like, I'm paying through the nose to live an average man lifestyle. What does it cost to live in other countries? A lot of people, like, they never ever thought about it. It's like because they're so like mechanical. They're like a normie robot. They're so mechanical. They don't even think about these things. They don't think about these things. But I think it's like you open up the Pandora's box, and once you open up the Pandora's box, you can't go back. You can't go back. Once you see that, bro, I could be living like this in other countries. Like, this is the lifestyle that I thought I would be living right now in the West. But then again, this country in particular, the weather is so crap that you can't even live that kind of lifestyle anyway, the kind of lifestyle that I want. But I never envisioned myself being in this country long term. When I was a kid, I always envisioned I'd be rich. But when I think about it, there was always the sun, the sea, and the sand in my visualizations. I never actually visualized myself in this country. It's just that, uh, you know, I mean, I didn't think of it that way, but now I see that my visualization was never to be here anyway. When I was a kid, and we all visualize things as a kid. I mean, some people maybe don't. That's why they're at the bottom of the food chain, but that's another topic. So yeah, man, I think about these things, and the average man, he's a finished dude, man. There's no other way to put it. Like the average man, yeah, he's a finished dude. And then you're gonna go out there and make things worse by having a kid just to feed your own ego, either feed your own ego or appease this opposite gender that you are with. But that's working out great for you, isn't it? You know, it's like a lot of dudes, man, they don't think. They really, really don't think. Man, I see myself as a lucky in that sense. I don't see myself as a lucky person. But I see myself as a lucky guy in that sense that I never got roped in to like having a kid. I never got roped into getting married and having a kid. Because that could have easily happened. These men are like slaves, man. Like, you know, and they're not just enslaved to their partner, they're enslaved to the system. It's terrible. It's terrible. And that's why bachelor men should be separated from guys who are married with kids, you know. But not only bachelor men should be separated, bachelor men without kids should be separated from bachelor men who have kids as well. Oh, well, why are you trying to separate men? Because the situation is different, you know. It's not about separating men because you got something against other men. It's that the situation is different, bro. Well, I got to take my kids to school. I got to drop off my kid. I don't give a shit about that. I mean, what single man wants to hear about that? I don't care about that. I don't care about you having to drop off your kids to school on more in the morning. I don't care, and I never will care. But that's the thing. I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes, and guys are out there talking about like that's a negative. It's a negative to be a single male bachelor. It's a negative to you because you're broke, but you're too stupid. Like that one guy from Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know if he's from Atlanta. I think he's from Atlanta, but he's from Georgia. That one guy from Georgia is too stupid to realize that his problem is he ain't got no money. It's like, bro, guys with money aren't complaining. It's broke guys that are complaining. It's only the broke guys that are complaining on YouTube. I don't see guys with money complaining. Guys with money aren't complaining because they got the options, you know. Having a good life is about having options in life, right? It's about being able to live your life on your own terms, by your own rules, not being enslaved to the system, not being enslaved to the opposite gender, not being enslaved to your children. It's about having options to live the life that you want to live. That's what it's all about. And as the single male bachelor that we advocate on this channel, not like them loser channels where they even advocate, oh, if I'm a single male bachelor, I can play video games and I don't have an opposite gender whining and complaining at me. Uh, if you're a single male bachelor and you're playing video games, you're wasting the opportunity of being a single male bachelor. You're taking the benefits of being a single male bachelor, you're picking them up and you're tossing them in the garbage. I've been a gamer and I still got to do that video on. I'll probably do more than one because I know a lot of you guys are gamers. Although you guys don't come on my channel and admit that you're gamers, I know a lot of you guys are gamers. I got to do that video, few videos, at least one video on gaming and why it's a destroyer of man. There's no doubt about it because I've been there. I've been there. That set me back. And it's not only that it set me back, bro. Like that was a prime time. Those 2 to 3 years as a business owner that I was gaming, actually it was 4 years. But it was hardcore gaming for about 2 years, and then almost 4 years gaming as a business owner, right? That set me back a lot, man. And I realized how that set me back. So when I see men in the community, in the men's community, trying to advocate like, oh, just play video games, man. Like it's like, bro, you're a terrible influence. And that's why I'm the truth of the manosphere, and I'm always gonna be the truth of the manosphere as long as I'm here because I'm giving it to you in a better way than anybody else is. And like I'll put the challenge out there for you guys. If there's somebody giving it to you better than me or as good as me, hey man, I'll quit the platform. I don't need to be on here. I might still do talking to yourself while I'm working because I like doing this talking to yourself, but that's not going to be regular. I'll quit all the response videos. I'll quit all the documentary reviews, you know, but there's nobody giving it to you like the way that I'm giving it. I would love to listen to them if they are, but there's nobody out there doing it. They're all out there to destroy you ultimately, whether it be the passport bro, whether it be the like I said, the MGTOW, red pill, even these look maxes that have now come. Look maxing is just a waste of time. I mean, I don't even need to talk about that. That's nonsense. It doesn't fix your situation. There's only two ways. I'm gonna say it again. There's only two ways to fix your situation. Either you're gonna go to another country, you're gonna get rich, or both. There's no other way to fix your situation. Being an average man doesn't cut it, especially in 2020, bro. 2020s, I should say. It's 2024, but in 2020s, being an average man don't cut it, bro. It just doesn't cut the mustard, especially when there's so much uncertainty. But we don't even know where the working world is going. We know where the working world is going, humanoid robots and etc. etc. Even school teachers, they launched the AI classroom recently in a private school. I think in London. It was in the UK. I'm not sure if it was London. And the kids were saying the AI classroom is better than the real teachers. So, teachers are going to the wayside. So, and you're going to be playing video games in a time of so much uncertainty. You're going to be look maxing. It's like people are beyond dumb. It's like what another guy says, another YouTuber said the whole world's gone dumb. And I agree, man. It's time real man here, the truth from man. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you aren't already, and make sure to hit the notification bell so you're informed every time I upload a new video.